a second invitation.
The only way to listen to the world's most exciting league outside the UK and Ireland.
It's a big chance here for West Ham, and they've got the equalising goal. A brilliant free kick right off the training ground.
We've got every single goal, every single weekend of the season.
Son to shoot, goal! Tottenham Hotspur have broken through.
English football at its finest.
Square pass to Kante, and now a brilliant finish from Gonzalo Higuain.
Premier League Live with Talk Sport.
Hello and welcome to TalkSport's coverage of Fulham versus Chelsea here at Craven Cottage. I'm your host Andrew Self, and alongside me I'm glad to say is former Fulham defender Rufus Brevett, and you are listening to Premier League Live. So now it's post Claudio Ranieri for Fulham. Owner Shahid Khan and the Tinkerman parted company on Thursday after the 2-0 defeat against Southampton, leaving the Cottagers some 10 points off of safety. I think we have to start by asking the man alongside me, Rufus Brevett, did the twice Premier League winner Ranieri really have a chance when he came into the Fulham job?
It was very difficult. He's coming into a team that conceding goals, the confidence was down, and he didn't really improve it. So, they've got rid of him. Scott Parker to come in, we'll see what he can do.
Absolutely. Now, howls of derision after the substitutions of fans' favourite County and McDonald on Wednesday night. Was it a case in the end that the Tinkerman was caught cold in trying too much with this squad?
Well, I think it's with defensively, it's changing things all the time. The formations, the players. There was never a setback for, so no one really knew what they were doing, and you saw that in the way that they defended. And it was. His time was up.
His time was up. Well, today the side is in the capable hands of Scott Parker, possibly until the end of the season, maybe after that. But after nearly £100 million worth of transfer fees paid out at the start of the season, it has been a little short of a disastrous campaign since the very first kick. And on Wednesday, they really only had one shot on target, which crashed against the Saints crossbar. Well, that was via a deflection. For Maurizio Sarri's side, Chelsea, after last weekend's loss to Manchester City on penalties in the Carabao Cup final amidst keeper gate, I'd have to say, they return to winning ways against Spurs at Stamford Bridge on Wednesday. And again, I come back to you, Rufus. What is it in your opinion that seems to unsettle so many managers with this squad? We had Mourinho win the title, and then they sort of flopped, and then we had Conte win the title, and then it was a drab second season, and now we've got Sarri and player unrest. Is it all about manager motivation, or is the players all in the roost?
Well, I think when you look at it, with Manchester United, the players, if you upset them, then they can just literally just run it, and managers don't really have a chance. I think you've got to literally put your arm around them and be nice to them. That's how it seems anyway.
I've got to say, Rufus, back in your day, some of the managers you would have played under, you started with Billy Bremner, there's one for you. I'm sure they wouldn't be cuddling if you'd done something wrong. Definitely,
but back then you could take a rollicking and take it in how it was meant to take.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a little look at the team news here from Craven Cottage. Scott Parker makes just one change to that lineup that lost away at Southampton, with Ryan Sessegnon coming in for Frank Ongisa, so they will line up with Sergio Rico in goal. A back four from right to left of Odoi, Nordveit, Ream and Bryant on the left side. He played quite well. Ryan Sessegnon just in front. The engine room will be McDonald and Chambers, rather a defensive setup there. Tom Carney on the right. Ryan Babel and Alexander Mitrovic is at the top of the park. They'll be wearing their traditional white shirts, black shorts and black socks. For Chelsea in goal, Kepa Arrizabalaga is back. Left to right with a back four, Emerson, Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, Cesar Azpilicueta, who is the captain. Then they have three across the middle of the park: Ross Barkley, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. Eden Hazard, Higuain and William are the front three. It's safe to say that if somebody's going to test the Fulham rearguard today, Eden Hazard and co are going to pull them all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. And you've seen with them that defensively they have had a problem defensively this season, and they'll be tested to the limit today, because they're playing against three players that can be very, very effective in the final third.
One of the big questions I've got to go back for, as a player's mentality here, they're 10 points off of safety. Can Fulham start playing under Scott Parker a bit of freedom football?
I think that's what he'll look to do. I think he would have said to them, look, no one expects them to get anything today. Just go out there and and express yourselves, and more importantly, work hard for each other, because I don't think they've been doing that.
No, that's something. Well, I think it's always difficult, and I've been a fan many times, and I've stood and looked, and I've wondered if they're putting a shift in. I never actually doubt any player goes and gives every little bit of heart and effort in there, but sometimes it's more as an individual than a unit.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's just run through. Graham Scott from Oxfordshire is the referee. Mark Perry and Mick McDonough are the linesmen's or the referee's assistants, and the fourth official is Lee Mason. In the first half, as we face the pitch, and we're very much above the camera gantry here, just above the dugouts below our feet, with Fulham that'll attack the goal away to our right, and we are 23 seconds into the game. It's a fairly straightforward situation. Rudiger makes his way up towards the halfway line. Nice ball over the halfway line. Williams stabs it back first time. So Rudiger back in control of the football. Mitrovic, who hasn't scored an away goal September the 1st, but is what Fulham will be looking to capitalise on. But they've got to get closer to him. When you play the one man up front, the accuracy of the ball in, and also the support has got to be there as Hazard turns it on to Higuain. His flick is cut out very quickly before McDonald and Kenny exchange passes, and now Tim Ream, the American, at the back. Already Fulham playing football just outside their 18-yard box, which makes me feel a little fidgety in my seat as Adoy tries to go around the outside of Barkley, who shows good strength before Adoy brings him down. They are playing football on the edge of their 18 and we're only a minute in.
Well, yes, and a couple of risky passes there. With first minute, you don't want to concede, especially against a team like Chelsea. You need to keep it nice and tight for the first 15 minutes.
Square across the back. Left back now takes a touch. Emerson just wanders infield up to the halfway line for Chelsea. Just back behind him, some 20 yards to Rudiger. Rudiger up to William. William midway inside the Fulham half, comes in from that right touchline. Crossfield ball, sees the space for Hazard. Hazard faced up by Dennis Adoy. Support coming, infield to Barkley. Barkley on his right foot, squares it to N'Golo Kante. Thought about a shot before just passing it on to William. The overlap comes, Azpilicueta puts it in, Ream clears. Running as far as N'Golo Kante. One thing we can see with Fulham that I didn't see at the week in the midweek match at Southampton is when they haven't got the football, they are getting into some shape behind the football. Yeah,
it does look like that. You see that, they've literally got five in midfield, leaving the one up front, and really compact in the middle of the park.
You'll always hear that famous plan A and plan B. It always changes once the goal goes in for either side, as Rudiger spreads a lovely ball down the left-hand side to Hazard, who brings it down, turns to run towards the side of the Fulham penalty area. Little ball back to Barkley. Barkley now finds Emerson. Emerson left foot delivery is not great, flicks off the legs of the red-headed Ryan Babel, and it's clipped forward, but good winning header by Christensen. And Chelsea tidy up without too many alarms as Azpilicueta snaps the ball forward now to Kante. Kante down the line to William. William trying to take on Brian. Tries to go outside Brian. Has gone outside Brian. Brian with a bit of a lazy one. Halfway line for those sort of challenges, I feel, not just outside your penalty area.
Yeah, I think his, Williams taking him down the line. There was no real need for Brian to dive in. He should have just kept running with him and shown him to the line. He dived in and got the foul.
Got the foul. It was fairly simple for the referee to give there. Graham Scott. Williams showing good pace for a man that's now in his 30s. The Brazilian looks to measure this free kick in, and Fulham a goal away to my left-hand side. There are more vocal fans behind them. Craven Cottage is an excellent old archetypal football ground. It'll be a right foot delivery from William into the 4th minute here. William just picks it up and curls it. Barkley was the man it was intended for, headed away. Shot will come in from Kante, blocked by Mitrovic. Back to Kante on the edge of the box, out to Hazard. Hazard delivers, flicked out by Higuain, just goes wide of Rico's right hand post. But Chelsea with a bit of urgency there.
A lot of urgency, and that sums Fulham up. The ball's gone out wide. They must have 9 players in the box, and it's Higuain who's in the centre of the pot, and no one's picking him up. And you've got 2 or 3 players that are not doing anything.
Yeah. They're sort of statuesque there, really, aren't they? If you look at it, Christensen's just behind Higuain as well. And Dennis Adoy was thinking, who do I pick up out of the 2? And he didn't pick either of them up, but nor did the rest of the Fulham defenders, in fairness.
It's a good start from Chelsea.
Kenny trying to get forward for Fulham. Down the right-hand side of the penalty area, way to my right. Goes shoulder to shoulder with N'Golo Kante. A man whose diminutive stature belies his immense presence on the football field.
Yeah, he really is a giant on the football pitch. You know, the way he gets around the field, breaks things up, and he's putting goals to his repertoire as well.
Yeah, his energy levels are, they're talking box to box, it's box to box and box to box for the full 90 minutes with him, isn't it? There's no stopping there. Good work by McDonald. Gets it down the line. Ryan tries to get past Azpilicueta, does so, gets his dead ball line, clips it in, but that's easy for Balaga to come out by his right hand post and just gather, but a little foray forward for Fulham.
Yeah, it was good there from Brian. He's getting into the final third, got to the byline, just couldn't quite get enough on the cross, and it just went into Capazan.
Well, there we are. The ball is played out. Azpilicueta takes his time. Chelsea all blue today. Blue socks, blue shorts and blue socks. Because of the sock clash with Fulham's home kit. Christensen, straight ball through, little flick, nice flick by Hazard, not quite had the legs to make Barkley, and coming away with it is Callum Chambers, showing great pace forward. Out to his right is Ryan Babel, chance to cross in, crosses it in, off the legs of Antonio Rudiger, shot by Kearney, great block by Azpilicueta, shot comes in again, this time it has Balaga scrambling away to his right hand side, a shot from Joe Bryan, the left back.
Well, they're driving forward, Fulham, and they're getting players in the box as well. Babel's a poor cross, and it's gone, what is he, penalty spot, and he's hit the player, but then it's come out to Bryan. He must have all of 25 yards, and it was a decent strike.
Certainly the keeper. They don't die for fun nowadays. He had to go across and just make sure everything was right. Interesting player there, Callum Chambers, who I thought had a very good game on Wednesday for Fulham, playing more as a defensive midfielder. Broke out really well, carried the ball forward well there.
I think he's done well for Fulham. Every time I've seen him, you know, it's not his position, but he's good defensively because he is a centre-half. He knows how to defend, and breaking forward has been very good as well.
Chelsea trying to get the ball out of their own half. They do so via Higuain and Barkley. Barkley plays it out to the left-hand side. Now bearing down on the apex of the Fulham box is Hazard. Hazard comes in from the left on his right foot, going square across the 18-yard box. Finds Higuain in a bit of space. Little trick by Higuain, but in the end it was excellent defensive work by Nordveit, who just read the little feint to one side and cleared the football. Lovely skill by Hazard. Higuain now playing like a right winger, tries to get outside Sessegnon. Slips, he's down by the dead ball line, makes his way out to the touchline now. Back to Kante. Kante inside. Jorginho had no real angle to make the pass, and Chelsea have just sort of lost the tempo there, but he is a box of tricks, isn't he, Eden Hazard?
Well, Hazard is driving in the box there, he's going across the box, he's played it into Higuain, he was free for a split second, he was free and he didn't get his shot off, and it just amounted to nothing.
A man like that as well, you thought he'd get a first time strike on that, didn't you?
As it came to him, I just thought he'd just get his shot off.
Yeah, there we go. Clipped out though by Odoi, up to the halfway line. Rudiger chests it down inside the centre circle on the Chelsea side, rolls it out to Emerson. Emerson takes his time and rolls it inside to Christensen, who goes square to Rudiger. Rudiger now 10 yards shy of the halfway line, straight ball looking for the feed of Hazard, who comes short, but it was a poor ball, and Chambers and Kearney get it out to Odoi. Odoi tries to play it down the right to Ryan Babel, and I've got to ask you a silly question. I couldn't get away with that haircut.
I'm not having that. No, not having it at all. I mean, red, not having it.
I actually love it. For a commentator, it's a commentator's dream. I can tell you that. Scott Parker certainly animated on the touchline. 9 minutes, you are listening to Premier League Live. The game between Fulham as the ball is breaking around the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. But just look at that, Chelsea are top side with at least 8 players closing that space down, working well as a team.
Yeah, they are. They're going in 2s and 3s to every time Fulham have got the ball, closing down in numbers.
Absolutely, Ryan Sessegnon put under pressure there. Don't forget, the best way to look forward to a Premier League weekend is to subscribe to TalkSport's Premier League Preview Show podcast, which is out every Thursday. Tom Rennie, and normally a legend like Rufus Brevett or co. I knew I'd get it in there, Rufus.
Got the old legend in, the legend.
Anyway, we break forward. We're into the 10th minute. Still Fulham 0, Chelsea 0 here at Craven Cottage. It's been a lively opening. Not too much goal-mouth action. Maybe Higuain's header.
Yes, that's it really. It's Chelsea have dominated the football, moving the ball from right to left. Fulham are breaking when they can.
but they look solid, don't they? They look solid at the moment.
They look a lot solid. Obviously, they've got the five in midfield, the one up front, so they're really keeping it nice and tight in the middle of the park.
What was a problem though, because that ball now that goes 40 yards towards Mitrovic, he is caught late there by Christensen, who's come over the top. Has to be accurate into him, doesn't it? Give him a chance.
Yeah, and you know with Mitrovic, his old play is very good, but that ball into him he's got to give him a chance to hold the ball up, because then he can have runners off.
Yeah, as long as those runners come and. Interesting. They've got a free kick though. Fulham just inside to Chelsea half.
But just like with that ball, that it wasn't the best ball, but he's won himself a free kick.
He has. Fulham have taken it, but they're now back in their own half. Babel taken on Emerson, comes in field, rolls it back to McDonald. Little scoop over the top into the channel. Kearney and Mitrovic is there. Mitrovic with an NFL defenceman's blocker run now to allow Kearney to get to the football. Play back inside to Chambers, who's fired a ball back out towards Kearney, but it's ricocheted off the referee Graham Scott, and Chelsea are now back in possession on the halfway line. Hazard clips one over the top. Straight race now between the Argentine and the American. The American wins it. Maybe Gonzalo Higuain's piece. Yeah, just fading it.
Yeah, that's right. The ball, it was a decent ball over the top, but when it skidded off the grass, there was no way he was going to trouble Fulham there.
But the thing is with Gonzalo Higuain is he's a goal scorer, usually inside the penalty area, pretty lethal, and you can maybe accept a little lack of toe of pace sometimes. Yes. But good work from Fulham, forcing Chelsea to roll it all the way back to their keeper, away to my right hand side. Andreas Christensen just jogs pretty much to the lip of the centre circle before just squaring it to Antonio Rudiger. And now Hazard coming in from the right-hand side, bearing down on the apex of the penalty area. Cuts back on his left foot, tries to roll it into Higuain. Ball spins off a defender. And just before Barkley can set himself, it's taken away by Babel. But Chelsea are back in possession with William. William, edge of the box, fires a shot in. Good block, good defensive block. That was, got his body across there. Should give that man a name check. I think it was McDonald.
A great block.
It was a great block. Body on the line there. Nice little ball from Sessegnon, long over the top. Mitrovic with an excellent pull down. Could he get the ball to Babel? That was end-to-end stuff. Almost 5-a-side, 11-a-side there from Fulham. Each having a go.
It's an open game. Both teams trying to get the ball forward. Fulham just coming into the game a little bit more now.
Just a worry that Chelsea may be facing quite a wounded animal as Callum Chambers goes wide on the far side with Rudiger with him, and Fulham force a throw-in level with the Chelsea penalty area.
Yes, it's been a lively start, it really has.
Ball's brought down by Fulham. Kearney just takes a sting out of the atmosphere for a moment by rolling it back to Brian. Brian square to Nordveit. Back out it goes to Tim Ream now. Ream has William dancing as he plays it down the left. Turned around the corner by Kearney, looking for Sessegnon. Gets it back. Brian now finds Sessegnon. Sessegnon crosses the ball in. Who's there? Side foot clearance of Christensen. Ball away on the far side for a throw to Fulham. They're making a fist of this.
They are. They've, as I say, the last couple of minutes they've come into it. They're getting the ball out wide, trying to get balls in the box. And when they are out wide, Fulham, they are getting numbers in the box. They've got runners going in the box.
If you're following us, you can follow us on Twitter at TalkSportLive. And Rufus Brevin, the former Fulham defender, is alongside me. I'll just tell you what happens, he'll tell you what they're thinking. That's what I like about this game. Ball goes back to Nordveit on the halfway line. Tim Ream lifts it down the left channel. Easy header away by Azpilicueta. Good work in the middle of the park by Kenny and McDonald to Brian out on the left. His ball forward has put Azpilicueta under a bit of pressure, but he clears. He's been very busy as the Chelsea captain and left back. One goal that can change the mindset. What I can say for any Fulham fans out there that are listening around the world, a fraction of this effort may be on Wednesday night. I don't think we see Southampton win by 2-0. They seem more organised already under Scott Parker as Babel turns the ball forward, but blindly. And it's picked up by Andreas Christensen midway inside his own half for Chelsea as they attack the goal away to my left. Bit of give and go. Now they're going to toy with the football for a moment along their back line as Rudiger plays it out to William. William now backs on the right hand side, looks for the overlapping run of N'Golo Kante into Gonzalo Higuain. Turns, shoots, blocked by Nordveit Shins. Fulham come away. Sessegnon, short ball to Kearney. Kearney round the corner. That sort of ball isn't going to give Mitrovic any chance there as it goes out of play.
No, it isn't. And again, it's a loose pass that just goes out of play. But what we saw there when the ball got played into Higuain, it was a touch in the box, and he's tried to get his shot off.
Yeah, and very good defending. In fairness, body was out there very, very quick. Chelsea though, 15 minutes here at Craven Cottage. You're listening to Premier League Live. You can tweet us at TalkSport Live. Fulham 0, Chelsea 0. It's been an open and entertaining game. A lot of effort and endeavour. I almost called it a coupon buster before today if it would go the wrong way. I think there's a few people would have stacked their chips on Chelsea victory today. I'm not saying it will not be a Chelsea victory as Higuain breaks the offside trap there. It looked a million miles offside, but the timing of the run and the quality of the striker makes it look that way.
Yeah, it did. It looked well off there, but it weren't offside. It was a good run, good timing. And if you see the Fulham back four were literally square, and he just ran through them.
Yeah, that's a clip you want to take on a bit of a videotape and show defenders, isn't it? Because they were very, very straight, and there was a big gap through the centre. It didn't even need a massive arc run, it just needed timing. No,
just timing, and if that ball was weighted right, is in on goal, and everyone's looking at the corner flag.
There's a shirt change here for Kevin McDonald. He's just recently come back into the side. That has been the Fulham Achilles heel, and as a defender, Rufus, you must look at defensive duties so much more keener than other parts of the football field sometimes.
Yeah, you know, you do like to see good defending, and you know, some of the goals that Fulham have given away have been really, really good.
Well, it's goalless here, and they're making a good fist of it against a Chelsea side that really do need to pick some points up. They've got a Europa League game in midweek against Dynamo Kiev, so that's possibly on Mauricio Sarri's mind. So he puts his little plastic pipe to his mouth and has a little surreptitious drawer on it to make up for his maybe cigarette missing capabilities. But Tim Ream has the ball infield to Callum Chambers under pressure from N'Golo Kante, but he manages to get away from him and Ross Barkley. And he plays it out to Babel. Babel now taking on the Chelsea left back Emerson. Run out of ideas quickly there, Babel. As soon as Emerson squared up, he didn't know whether to go outside or inside, but he gets it back, tries to whip the ball in, and it's a nice bit of defending there by Emerson, who's this 24-year-old Italian. Babel's throw to Odoi, back to Babel. Babel gets it in, lovely little touch that is, round the corners. Fulham holding the football well. Ross Barkley now the man to try and take on Ryan Babel. Infield to Kearney. Kearney square now to Callum Chambers, and Kevin McDonald now rolls it out to the far side to Brian. Action around the Chelsea penalty area. Ryan Sessegnon back to McDonald. McDonald right foot ball straight in. Out comes Arrizabalaga. Oh my word, he dropped it. And Ryan Babel had turned his back on the ball and didn't know it was just behind him. Pantomime season reigns here in March.
Well, it was good. It was good possession from Fulham. Kept the ball really well. Moved it from side to side. The ball got played in the box, and the keeper is caught it. And then Babel he's jumped with the keeper, and then didn't realise the keeper's dropped it. Would have been a simple tapping.
It would have been a very simple tapping. And it's one of those where you really won't want to watch that one back later on. That's for sure. Hazard in around the 18-yard box of Fulham now. Back to Jorginho. Barkley square to N'Golo Kante. Now it's Chelsea that are camping around the perimeter of the 18-yard box of Fulham. Willian into the box trying to take on Sessegnon. Comes out again. Rolls it back some 4 yards to Jorginho. Square to Kante. Back to Jorginho. 30 yards from goal, but Fulham have got bodies back. It's very congested. As Piliqueta joins in. Hazard now with a straight ball to Willian. Back to Hazard. Hazard's got a bit of chance and space here for the shot, but elects to go to Barkley. Square on this left-hand side. He comes back and tries to curl one in. It just goes wide of Rico's left-hand post. But we saw there, Rufus, that Chelsea, if they delay, they're not playing with a poor tempo, but if they delay that ball, Fulham are getting back in shape, aren't they?
I think when you're playing against a side that have got players' bodies back behind the ball, you've got to move that ball quick.
Yeah.
Got to move it quick.
And we're just watching on our monitor here. We're provided with Kepa Arrizabalaga. He moved the ball quick. Out of his hands and onto the floor, and Ryan Babel didn't know it. It actually looks worse in slow motion.
It does look worse. He's literally looking away when the ball's right by his feet.
Wow. Could have been 1-0 Fulham, but it's 0-0. And don't forget, if you do like your Premier League weekend, and it is a good league to get involved with, something happens, as we've just seen, all the way to the finishing line, as Watford scored late on to beat Leicester in the early match. And don't forget, later on this afternoon, Everton and Liverpool, 233rd Merseyside derby coming up after this game. But Willian drives forward, little overlap from Azpilicueta. Higuain 1-0. How simple was that goal? Fizzed in, Higuain got across his man as it came in from his right-hand side. Side puts it past Rico. It's 1-0 Chelsea, and it was just too clinical.
And that's what you get with him. He's had a couple of times where he's been in the box and there's been no Fulham player around him. They've been warned. The ball got played out wide, and it's William who's waiting for the overlap. And it's just a simple ball, and it's Fulham have got 4 players in the box, 2 Chelsea players, and it goes to Higuain, who just side foots it into the goal. Clinical finish.
It's a very, very clinical finish, because if you look at it, and I'm watching it again, the 2 Fulham centre halves actually are not in bad positions, but they're actually nowhere near Higuain, who can make that run.
But the problem is Higuain's on the move and they're stood still, so they're static. He's just ran across them. It's not even a sprint, he's just jogged across them, side footed it into the goal.
It doesn't matter what level of football you play, you'll always be told to attack that front post, and Higuain did that superb. Ran through the gap, and it was, well, we say clinical, it's just such a simple finish, and it wasn't simple because the ball came at a pace.
It looks easy, but it was a fantastic finish. It really was. The pace was on the cross. All he had to do was get a good connection, and with his movement, left the goalkeeper with no chance.
Absolutely, and now we have Fulham side goal down at home to Chelsea. Higuain scoring on 20 minutes, and they have now got to pick up the tempo of what was a lively start for them. Very interesting when I watched Ryan Sessegnon last week come on against Southampton. Little ball back as Willian tries to drive forward. Alan Chambers could get a yellow card for that misdemeanour. Indeed he does. The referee, Graham Scott's about to say, you know the rules, don't tug him back, you don't get a card. Tug him back, I'm not going to brandish one. But he's looked a little out of sorts, Ryan Sessegnon, recently.
I think he's been poor this season. I really do. He had such a good season last season. And I think he's found the step up, and it's not easy. The step up is not easy.
Almost on a personal level, he's got a touch of second season syndrome.
Well, yeah, you could say that, but it's hard work on the training pitch, and I think he's lacking confidence as well. What happens when you don't win football matches.
Well, they were crest of a wave last year under Slavica Jukanovic, and this year's been a marked step up. We all know step up in any division can be big, but this is a mammoth step from the top of the Championship into the Premier League. Chelsea don't spin. William plays it out. Azpilicueta is a long way forward, 5 yards shy of the dead ball line. Plays it in. This time Ream stabs the ball away. Sessegnon gets it into the feet of Kearney. Kearney will roll it back to Brian. Brian lifts it forward. Can Sessegnon get in behind Azpilicueta? He can, but Antonio Rudiger lost the ball back to Cesar Azpilicueta. And Chelsea tidy things up with a little bit of Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. Centre circle on the Chelsea side. Ross Barkley will just roll it under our feet here, and they stand to Emerson. Emerson back infield to Barkley. And Chelsea now, you can almost see the game management being played out in front of us.
Yeah, they're just keeping the ball, not really being closed down in their off.
Hazard into Higuain, as I thought he was blocked off by Chambers, and Chambers now, after that yellow card, will run a little bit of a tight line as a defensive midfielder.
Yes, he will. He's got to be careful now, because he does like to be competitive. He just needs to be a little bit careful.
He does. Rudiger straight through into the bit of Higuain, 10 yards inside the Fulham half. Loses out. Ream finds McDonald. McDonald finds Brian. Brian the left back up to the halfway line, 3 yards in from that far touch line. Tries to slide it down the line to Sessegnon, but it's cut out rather easy, and Chelsea back in possession on the halfway line. Higuain to Barkley. Barkley, a little short ball forward to Hazard. Hazard just really got a touch on it, throws his arms up in dismay, because Norvik was always favourite to get his body across, and did so. And the ball is now back with the Fulham goalkeeper Rico. His kick out is slightly poor, but it will be Fulham that managed to dispatch the ball an awful long way. Rugby Union, that's called kicking for touch. I think it's just actually sitting down and giving yourself half a second to get yourself composed again, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. They've lost the goal. They've just got to... there's a long way to go in the game. But Mitrovic, the balls into him, I don't think have been of any quality. They've not given him anything to work with, really. It's something I'd say of many games, and I watch a lot of games from all over the place. When you play that solitary striker role, you play a lone furrow, your reputation is on the line based on the balls into you, on the
accuracy.
service.
The service has got to be so good, and Mitrovic is, at the moment, his compatriot's being forced back in a defensive formation as William now picks it up on this left-hand side. Barkley's just outside him. Little flick over the top for Emerson. First time layup. Cut out though by McDonald. Back on this near side, which is Chelsea left to Barkley. Rolls it back to Jorginho. William, I think that's absolutely a correct decision now. He goes over an errant leg from Tom Kearney, but I think that William was ready for it.
I think he saw the leg and he went over the leg. He could easily have avoided it, but he decided to go over the leg. Good refereeing. Good refereeing
indeed. And Sessegnon's just been held up by Azpilicueta and just inside the centre circle on the Fulham side as Fulham attack the goal as we face the pitch away to my right hand side. McDonald will look to, I'm sure Higuain's not 10 yards away, but he goes back to Nordveit to Adoy out on this right for Babel. Babel's ball in was so telegraphed to Mitrovic. Two Chelsea players in a pincer movement got there so much earlier, and again Fulham can't afford to give the ball away as Chelsea have just done, and it's Joe Bryant bearing down on the Chelsea penalty area. Outside of him is Sessegnon tries to clip the ball in, deflection, Mitrovic on the volley. What a save from Kepa Arrizabalagas. Mitrovic had a sniff, took it first time, volleyed 12 yards out going into the top corner, all from a Chelsea mistake, but what a save from that keeper. 71.6 million, paid a bit back there.
It was an absolute worldie save, and it's played to Mitrovic, who's not really had any sniffs at goal on the volley, and it's a great save from Kepa.
Almost hit it too well, didn't he? Really?
He hit it very well. He's dived, his big strong hands, he's put it over the bar.
Fulham's first corner of the game, in fact the first corner I think of both sides here in the 27th minute. Goal away to my right hand side, Sessegnon short to Babel lifts it in, it's a decent ball, open goal at the back, and it's turned in by Callum Chambers. It's what a piece. Well, I'm not sure how well I know London, but Callum Chambers had most of it to play in there.
Well, if you see that it's just a short corner, and I think he started at the front and he spun to the back, and again, where was the marking? Where was the Chelsea marking? He's free at the back stick, and he just volleys it, side foots into the goal. 1-1.
Well, it was a really well-worked goal, but I didn't expect to see quite as much space in that penalty area. My word, I'm watching it on the replay. For Chelsea, look like school kids. They're all in a little gaggle, and he's on his own. And Arrizabalaga has no chance.
Well, right from the beginning, he stood on his own, and then all of a sudden, he just spun to the back stick. No one's picking him up, and he's just a tapping at the back stick.
We say tapping, it was a volley.
It was a volley.
It was a volley, good quality, but
yes, it was.
I think the shock from my point in the commentary there was I thought, he's all on his own. This is strange.
It was unbelievable.
It was really. Well, we've got a game on our hands now, 29 minutes into the game. It's one apiece. Arrizabalagas already poured one over the bar from Mitrovic. Fulham have been better than I've seen in quite a while, certainly from Wednesday night. Chelsea looked in control when they got the goal up for Higuain's clinical finish. And the game is back on the boil, Rufus.
Back on. That will give them, a confidence again to try and push forward Fulham.
William now, right hand side, crossfield ball, looking for Eden Hazard on the chest. Adoy comes to close him down. Does so well, gets his backside across the ball, and a man finds Kante just outside the box. His ball forward is cut out, but all of a sudden there's a real momentum behind Fulham defensively and going forward as Kearney tries to go forward. He's been buffeted on board by Kante before Rudiger stops his progress.
Good play from Kearney there. He just took the ball, didn't really have a pass on, then just travelled with the ball. He had Sessegnon to his left. I'm not too sure who it was that fouled him. I think it was Kante from behind. Just caught his leg, and it's a free kick.
Well, it's almost like there was a massive bit of belief inside the Fulham hearts of the players, because that goal went in and they celebrated it as though, we can do something.
Yeah. Well, you saw the surprise on their faces. Oh, we've scored. So they can do it.
Absolutely. McDonald to Brian down the left side to Sessegnon, who tries a little expansive flick to go past Azpilicueta, but Chelsea all of a sudden showing a little bit of jitters, nobody really taking control of the football before Azpilicueta gets out on N'Golo Kante, and he runs back, and second touch was a bit heavy, and Chelsea forced to do emergency triangle football before getting it back to Arrizabalaga, and Babel goes in and shuts him down. He only lifts it out back on the far side. Sessegnon just dwelt on the chest down, and Kante's got it back for Chelsea, but a cauldron of noise inside Craven Cottage. Good work by Joe Bryant. Has he drawn a foul? No, quite rightly. Jorginho comes forward. Little ball to Higuain. Higuain's got Willian out to the right-hand side, over the halfway line. Chelsea drive forward to the goal away to my left. Willian now driving forward, square to his left to Higuain. Further left now to the apex of the penalty area to Hazard. Hazard's inside the box, rolls it back. Shot coming in from Jorginho. 2-1. An absolute acre of space this time for Jorginho on the edge of the box. He curls it into the top corner. Let's talk about the goal first and then what the score might be at the end.
It really is a fantastic finish, and you saw Chelsea picking the ball up in midfield, driving forward. Higuain plays the ball out wide to Hazard, who just plays it to the edge of the box, and it's Jorginho. There's no one near him, and he's just side-footed it, curled it into the top corner. Again, leaving the keeper with no chance. 2-1.
Well, he's got time. There's nobody going to shut it down. Literally opens his right foot up. Finally, a Fulham defender appears, but it was pick your spot, really, wasn't it?
It was, and Fulham again. They must have had 6 or 7 players in the box, but no one closing him down on the edge of the box. They just stood there and watched him.
Interestingly, Jorginho won the ball back off of Joe Bryan, the left back, just outside his own penalty area, and that break was so swift and so decisive that Fulham couldn't get themselves set.
And I think Fulham were looking for a free kick there, but it was good refereeing from the referee again that waved the play on.
The ball's gone all the way through to the Chelsea keeper. We've had 3 goals inside of 32 minutes, and a very lively game too we've had, so we can't really disagree. Don't forget, if you do want to look forward to your Premier League weekends, everything is looked at in depth, and you can subscribe to TalkSport's Premier League Preview Show podcast, which is out every Thursday, joined by Rufus Brevitt, a former Fulham defender. How do you feel when you watch your previous sides? Do you have a little favour towards, or would you try and be impartial? I try
and be impartial. Obviously, I want to see, my ex-teams do really well, but you also like to see good football.
Well, I'm certainly watching a good football game here.
This is a good game.
Kante inside to Jorginho. Jorginho square now to Barkley. Barkley lip of the centre circle Fulham side as Chelsea attack the goal away to my left-hand side. Ball over the top again. Reams in trouble. Higuain puts it over the crossbar again. Another great run. But Higuain there, 31 years of age, the Argentine. Belt number 2 was on the carpet. He lifted it. Let's just watch this run again. Straight through the centre. He's actually aided this time by the left back, making it a fractured back line. Just stood about half a yard back. Timing of the run was superb.
Again, his movement is really sublime. And again, it was Brian that was a little bit off, that played him onside. But again, you'd expect him to at least hit the target.
Well, with that amount of ability, there was a little look of a finish of a fullback getting in there with a bit of red mist. I think he sort of lifted it, didn't it? I can't blame the pitch, because these pitches are immaculate.
Well, these pitches are like carpets, aren't they?
Anyway, Fulham trying to strike back. 34 minutes on the clock. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2 goals so far today. Higuain on 20 for Chelsea, put him in front. Callum Chambers on 28 equalised, and then just a couple of minutes later on the 30th minute, Jorginho kills one in the top corner. Well, if Maurizio Sarri likes to calm his nerves by having a cigarette in this first half, he'd have opened quite a few packets. Ball goes into their box now. Around the back is Odoi. Tries a shot, slightly on the run, slightly on the inside of his calf.
I think you knew the outcome of that as it went to him. He's sprinting on the ball, didn't really steady himself. He's off balance, didn't really get his shot off. probably would have been better to hold the ball and maybe chip it back in the box in that instance.
The rain coming down here in Fulham. Balaga plays it out. Ryan Babel with a challenge of sorts on Emerson, which has ended up with the ball going out for a Fulham throw, but slightly different. Ball into the feet now, Mitrovic. He's got 4 Chelsea players round him. Really stood no chance because he was fighting for scraps there. And it's Chelsea that will build with Rudiger coming away from his own penalty area, away to my right-hand side. Stabs the ball out to Azpilicueta, back inside to Rudiger. Barkley finds a nice bit of space. No pressure on the ball there. McDonald and Chambers not putting pressure on, so he plays it out left-hand side to Emerson. Hazard. A little give and go between Barkley and Hazard, and Barkley all the time in the world just to stroke it back to Balaga. We saw this just moments ago, in fairness, as Emerson is picked out by a gorgeous ball by Rudiger. Driving towards the Fulham penalty area. Into the Fulham penalty area he goes. Rolls it back to the edge of the box. Callum Chambers, defensive now at the 4 there. Knew the danger wasn't intercepted. Yeah,
and that's the problem. They've got the ball there, and the ball up to Mitrovic again is of no quality at all.
And that is a big problem, because if you don't find that accuracy,
then it just keeps coming back.
It just keeps coming back. And you know, sometimes you just, I know it's hard when you're under a raft of pressure. We've seen many sides, and Fulham being one of those at the foot or towards the foot of the Premier League. It's difficult when you're down there, as Willian tries to take on the left back. Brian rolls it back to Azpilicueta, back to Willian, level the 18-yard box of Fulham, exchanging passes, rolled back 10 yards to Kante to Jorginho, dead centre of the Fulham half. Barkley back to Jorginho, back to Kante. They're just stroking the ball around. Fulham are in shape and discipline and trying to block the holes, but you always fancy that, like a cobra, they're going to just sneak a little hole in, and they've got the people to maybe dart forward, haven't
they? Yes, they have, and you know, they move the ball a lot quicker there, Chelsea. But Fulham, good shape.
Going to need a little bit more than shape. They trail by 2 goals to 1 as Jorginho slips it into Higuain. Higuain rolls it outside into the box, goes Hazard. Shot comes in. Tim Ream there with a block, first corner of this first half on 37 minutes. But that's it, isn't it? They're just like a cobra. They're just waiting, and they fed through the hole.
And that's what they do. They wait until their gaps appear, wait for the run, wait to pass through the gap, and then you're in on goal.
Corner going to come in from Rico's left-hand side. Goal away to my left. It's flat. Babel heads it up in the air, but not away from the penalty area. Back towards Hazard. Willian gets his body across the ball. Babel, I'm sure, gave the Brazilian a little bit of a shot there, but Graham Scott says nothing to it. Mitrovic has jumped into the man. And the ball will break to Hudson. Not Hudson Odoi, that's another player from another league. Dennis Odoi, as Kearney there rolls it to Chambers. Chambers tries to slip it in behind the N'Golo Kante, who's playing at right back at the time. Just flips off a Chelsea leg and goes away for a Fulham corner.
Yeah, you saw what Chambers tried to do there. He just tried to play it through the gap. Sessegnon was onside. I think he got a little nick off a Chelsea player. So it's a corner to Fulham.
Corner to Fulham, 38 minutes, same side that they just scored from with their first corner. Callum Chambers, will he be given the freedom of the city again? Anyway, it's a high-hanging ball. Headed away this time by Christensen. Picked up on the edge of the box by the left-back Brian on the right. Flips it back in again. It's a deep one, and this time it's good hands by Kepa Arrizabalaga, who claims at the back post. Mitrovic was loitering with intent, and one of the people that are down holding his knee. This says that Azpilicueta. Didn't see the collision there.
I don't know what happened there. There was a lot of bodies in the box.
So he's got a little stud mark on his knee. As I peer down, maybe he fell and was caught by a trailing foot, but Maurizio Sarri not making a substitution, certainly not a keeper substitution, that's for sure. Not today.
I don't think we'll see that one today.
No. Hopefully there'll be a bit of clarity for him when he makes a change. But Azpilicueta, captain, is up. 39 minutes in. Goal kick to Chelsea. And what has been a very entertaining first 39 minutes, Rufus.
It's been very good. You know, both teams have played their part. Chelsea have moved the ball really quick at times. Fulham, they've got behind the ball, got bodies behind the ball, kept a good shape. And we've seen Higuain on a couple of times where his little darting runs have got him free.
Kepa Arrizabalaga wearing a little bit of white line in the hair at the moment. Gets the ball out. Chelsea will start once again, building from the back with Christensen to Rudiger, joined by Rufus Brevett, former Fulham, and also QPR full-back. Distinguished career. He's the man that can read the minds of the players for me as Ross Barkley and Higuain exchange passes just by the lip of the centre circle on the Fulham side as they attack the goal away to my left. Give and go from Azpilicueta back to N'Golo Kante, who swings it back to Christensen, whose first time ball to Barkley is crisp and clean, but I would have been a little bit concerned if I'd have been a defender receiving that and having to make a really decent first time pass. I think you would have too.
He's done really well there, Christensen. It was a deft touch with a ball that was fizzed into him, and he was under pressure as well.
Ball is back with Rudiger. Rudiger will roll it back to the Chelsea keeper away to my right hand side. A little bit of muted inside the ground for a moment. There has been lots of jollity from both sets of fans in this first half, and certainly Fulham have enjoyed some good spells in this game, but it's Chelsea that just hold the sway at the moment. 2-1 up as Rudiger goes for a deep ball into the box. Odoi, a little bit of lower abdomen to control that football, carries it away from his own goal, but runs into Ross Barkley, who gets the ball back to Higuain, back to Hazard. Hazard in, fires a low shot down. Rico, big strong left hand, saves it. But we always said, we were talking before the game, Dennis Odoi likes to play football, sometimes in the wrong areas, but it's Chelsea that drive forward again. Down this left-hand side with Willian. Back to Barkley. Barkley to Emerson. Back to Barkley. Barkley 24 yards from the dead ball line. Square to N'Golo Kante. This time Hazard gives the ball straight to Sessegnon, but there it may be a little glimpse when Odoi was caught by Barkley was Fulham's season in a nutshell. Yeah,
that is it. I've seen him do that in that position and then concede goals. Didn't concede then, but you play in the right areas.
Yeah. Willian drives towards the apex of the Fulham box and lay off to Hazard. Hazard goes to the left back. Emerson tries to keep his run going. Emerson just holds it for Barkley. Barkley back to Jorginho. Square to Barkley now on his left hand side. This is where Chelsea will just toy almost with their opposition, but they have the players, and whether it be Pedro, this time Jorginho has lost out to Kenny. Kenny finds Mitrovic. Mitrovic manages to go forward, but N'Golo Kante gets back before McDonald wins the loose ball and spreads it out to Babel, who pops up this time on the left for Fulham. A little overlapping run from Joe Bryan, faced by Azpilicueta into Sessegnon. Good spin on the edge of the box. Give and go with Kenny. Rudiger gets back and stops the run of the youngster, the 18-year-old there. Thought it maybe got a bit of space, maybe in the Championship you get it, but once Antonio Rudiger's around, you're not going to get that much.
I think he looked and thought it was in, and then all of a sudden Rudiger he spotted the danger, come across and just sniffed out the danger.
It really was a nice turn by Sessegnon to fashion his own space there. And maybe when you look at Ryan Sessegnon, should Fulham get relegated, somebody may be thinking, actually, in the right side, this boy's going to blossom.
Yes, I think you could be right.
Not saying that Fulham's not the right side, but I'm just saying there will be Premier League managers who will see that as a reasonable price to pay for somebody with a great future. Good work by Fulham as Kenny and Chambers exchanges passes. Nordveit now will drill it long. Babel comes in off this right-hand side, headed away by the left-back Emerson on the apex of his own penalty area, finds Jorginho. Jorginho to Hazard, who just dinks the ball in. A reverse ball by Barkley looked nice, but fell nicely for Tim Ream for Fulham, and they just managed to smuggle the ball back to Sergio Rico. Must just say it was a fine stop by Rico from Eden Hazard just moments ago.
Yes, it was, and here comes Babel down this left-hand side. And sniffed out. Yes, it was a very good save. Good strong hand, it was low, got down really well, and certainly was a fantastic save.
Hasn't had no chance with the goals, Sergio Rico. The two goals, a crisp finish from Gonzalo Higuain, who got on the football now, tries to drive through. Rico couldn't do anything about it. Cross came in from Rico's left-hand side, and Higuain cut across his man and fizzed it in low with real purpose for the first goal. And the second one, well, the invitation for Jorginho to basically pick his spot was far too silly not to accept, and indeed Jorginho took it and curled it into the top corner to put Chelsea back in front.
Yes.
Sarri's on the touchline. Mitrovic has gone down. There's a free kick being given. We'll get to see the I think the ball was there to be won.
The ball was certainly there to be won, and Mitrovic just fell over, went to pass it. Emerson maybe caught him a little bit,
He's being kind. I was waiting to see what he was going to say. Fullbacks union there. He kissed his leg to get to the ball. I think is the best way. Free kick to Fulham. 45th minute of this first half here. You're listening to Talk Sport Premier League Live. Graham Scott gets in the way, but Fulham try and fashion the ball down the far side, but it's lifted out a play on the far side as well. Graham Scott got himself in the way of one. His first touch was poor when it was ricocheted off his legs, wasn't it?
It's the second time it's come off him today.
Yeah, he wants to tidy up that first touch. If I was out there, I'd be having a word with him. Graham, come on, work harder on that first touch. We can smile, but it's been a very entertaining first 45, hasn't it, Rufus?
It has. It's been really good. Both teams really having a go. It's been very, very enjoyable.
Higuain stabs the ball into his own penalty area. Emerson away to my right-hand side will take the time to try and run away from Babel. Finds Barkley. Barkley just clips it back into space. Jorginho and Barkley exchange passes. Finally, Callum Chambers gets up to put some pressure on, but Chelsea have worked it well. Now it's going down their left-hand side. Azpilicueta. The right-hand side, to Willian. Willian now driving forward. Azpilicueta is still outside of him. Plays it to him now. Low ball in. Higuain. What a shot! So crisp again. Enrico away to his left-hand side. Keeps Fulham back in it again. That's a great save, and it's a great move by Chelsea. Just sliced through. Simple football. Higuain again, just run off the two centre-halves and a first-time shot. What work.
Anything in the box, you know, he's getting something on it, and his movement, it's just that one where he checks to go one way, comes back, little half a yard of space, bang.
Willian corner comes in, bounces off the thigh of Rudiger and away from goal, and it's hooked to safety by Fulham. We'll be hoping for that half-time whistle now. Scott Parker with his first managerial team talk in between the break. It'd be difficult for him not to sort of say more of the same, but he'll also want to tidy up on a few things. Yeah,
he will. I think certainly the balls into Mitrovic has got to be better. Once they get into the final third, can they find that final pass? But, I think he won't be too disheartened with what he's seen there.
We're into the second of 2 additional minutes to be added on at the end of this first half. Sarri maybe will be saying, let's kill this game. And they've had a couple of chances towards the end of this first half to make it 3-1, but Sergio Rico has been in good form inside the Fulham goal. Ball is currently with Barkley. Barkley to Higuain. Cut out by Chambers. Chambers to Babel to McDonald, out to Sessegnon. Fulham now trying to retain possession, but they're under pressure very, very quickly from the Chelsea forwards, who are hunting in packs here. And finally Graham Scott says that's enough for the first 45. Your thoughts, Rufus Brebbit, of that first 45?
It's been very entertaining. Both teams really, really having a go. We've seen Higuain, who's had a couple of decent, he scored a great goal, and again he's had another two chances where he probably could have scored. Fulham have come into it in the second half, their shape has been very good, so we'll see what we've got for the second half.
So goals coming very quickly for Chelsea on 20 minutes. Higuain with a lovely finish. Callum Chambers equalised for Fulham, and then Jorginho picked his spot at the break here at Craven Cottage. It's Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. You are listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Here's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just Does City go 2-1 down at Leicester? Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
You've been listening to the first half of TalkSport's coverage of Fulham against Chelsea from Craven Cottage. And I tell you what, if you've missed it, where have you been? There's your first half highlights. McDonald, right foot ball, straight in. Out comes Arrizabalaga. Oh my word, he dropped it, and Ryan Babel had turned his back on the ball and didn't know it was just behind him. Pantomime season range here in March.
Fulham kept the ball really well, moved it from side to side. The ball got played in the box, and the keeper is caught it, and then Babel is jumped with the keeper, and then didn't realise the keeper's dropped it.
William drives forward, little overlap from Azpilicueta. Higuain 1-0. How simple was that goal? Fizzed in, Higuain got across his man as it came in from his right-hand side. Side puts it past Rico. It's 1-0 Chelsea, and it was just too clinical.
And that's what you get with him. He's had a couple of times where he's been in the box and there's been no Fulham player around him. They've been warned. Clinical finish.
Babel lifts it in. It's a decent ball. Open goal at the back, and it's turned in by Callum Chambers. It's what a piece. Well, I'm not sure how well I know London, but Callum Chambers had most of it to play in there.
Where was the Chelsea marking? He's free at the back stick, and he just volleys it, side foots into the goal.
Jorginho comes forward. Little ball to Higuain. Higuain's got Willian out to the right-hand side, over the halfway line. Chelsea drive forward to the goal away to my left. Willian now driving forward, square to his left to Higuain. Further left now to the apex of the penalty area to Hazard. Hazard's inside the box, rolls it back. Shot coming in from Jorginho. 2-1. You are listening to TalkSport's Premier League Live. I'm your host, Andrew Self, and I can tell you I'm joined by the former Fulham defender and indeed QPR defender, Rufus Brevitt. Time to digest that first half, I think now, Rufus. Yes. When you sit back and look at it, Chelsea are leading. That's what people would have thought. But let's give the Fulham fans a little bit of hope. It's been a different performance from them, hasn't it?
I think it has. They've shown some great spirit as well. The organisation, they seem to, all of them know what they're doing. The midfield, their shape in the midfield is better. And at times, Chelsea find it hard to break through them. But we know the quality that Chelsea have got. And
they have got quality. It's those two players, William, Hazard, good first touch. They can open up and create space very quickly. Yeah, of course they can. And coupled with the movement of Higuain, it's very impressive to see. Now, Sarri has got a big European game. He'll want this game wrapped up quite quickly, won't he?
And it could have been wrapped up. They've had a couple of Higuain's had a couple of decent chances. The Fulham goalkeeper's made a couple of decent saves. But yeah, he'll want to get the third goal and maybe the fourth and just kill the game.
Just kill the game. Fulham, though, they can't really be disappointed. A little bit of freedom football for them in this Scott Parker reign as it just starts. They're possibly down. They're more than likely down. So they can sort of try and take that stress out of their shoulders, surely.
Yeah, I think they can play with a little bit of freedom and express themselves, because I don't think they've done that all season. They've you know, it's like they're playing with a weight on their shoulder. And now that, you know, the new manager's come in, surely he'll just say, go out there and play and express yourself.
Well, talking about weight on the shoulders, this afternoon after us, it's Everton versus Liverpool. And what a massive game that is. There'll be expectation all over Merseyside with both sides. The two managers involved are Marco Silva and Jurgen Klopp. And this is what they had to say going into the 233rd Merseyside derby.
And I'm not happy with the results. But to change radical, no. I answer to you again, no. To look for each match like a final for us, to play like a final, but enjoying, see our players playing with confidence is the main thing for me now, because I know if they can put their quality and they enjoy what they are doing, we'll perform again in the level we already performed.
We know that it will be really tough. It was that day really tough. It was that day really tough. It will be really tough tomorrow. I think Everton often changed a little bit the tactics, the approach against us, because it's so important. So we will have analyzed and we'll see, and it's really difficult. Is that against us as well, or is it against us completely different? So we really prepare the football part of the game, and it will be very emotional as well, and hopefully with a good end for us.
Well, what a big end it was in the game in Liverpool, with the most strangest goal ever. Divock Origi getting the one off the crossbar, Jordan Pickford not getting it quite right. He played in plenty of derbies. It doesn't matter really how big the thing is. You've got to play the game and not the occasion.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I think whichever team plays the game and not the occasion, and doesn't get drawn into everything that's going on in and around the ground and the supporters, I think will win the game tonight.
Right, we have Rufus Brevett alongside us. I've got to ask you that question that everybody asks. Is this Liverpool's year?
I think it's one of them where they've got an unbelievable chance. But I just feel as though Man City, with the squad that they've got in the background, I think Man City will just about make it.
Now, Marco Silva was really a little bit scathing about Jurgen Klopp's celebration in the previous game with that last-minute winner in the game. He said it's a World Cup final. Everton have flattered to deceive again this season, haven't they?
I think they have. They've got some really, really good players. They really have, and there was a time where they started well, and just of late they've just gone off the ball a little bit. But this is a game where you want to get back on the ball, and I think everything that's gone on the past, they win this game today, then all will be forgiven.
Two things that I noticed in the stats before the Merseyside derby is that Liverpool have only lost one league game all season.
Yes, it's
pretty impressive, isn't it?
Very, very impressive. They even when they're not playing well, Liverpool, they're grinding out results.
But like most people that can't or haven't won the title on time, there's always somebody that sticks like glue to you, and it's Manchester City in this case. So it's going to be possibly a straight race between the two. And of course, Everton have never beaten any sides above them in the Premier League, so it makes it very difficult.
It does. It makes it very, very difficult for them. It's going to be a massive ask for them, but it's a local derby, and form goes out the window as such.
That is later. John Anderson and Alan McLaughlin will be talking about that. Don't go anywhere. The second 45 of this wonderful game here at Craven Cottage is coming. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful goal from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Cardiff City legend Danny Gavidan joins us on the preview show. He's got some new teeth. The former Millwall captain Matt Lawrence with us on the preview show. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is on the preview show this week.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You join us back here at Craven Cottage. I'm here, I'm your host Andrew Self. Welcome back to TalkSport's coverage of Fulham versus Chelsea here at Craven Cottage. And I'm joined, I'm glad to say, by former Fulham QPR defender of distinction, Rufus Brevett. We were just talking at half-time there, Rufus. Can Fulham change things around if they need to? We sort of drew a bit of a blank when we looked at the bench.
Yeah, when you look at the bench, there's not much. As you said, unless they change the shape. But I think he'll be happy with what's gone on for the first 45 minutes of keeping the same.
Well, I've got to say, I looked at the Chelsea side. Alisson Balaga, 76 million. Azpilicueta 7, Rudiger 34, Emerson 26, Conte 32, Jorginho 57. This is £1 million, by the way. Willian £30 million, Eden Hazard 32. That's one lone player in there. Barkley was 15 million, and Christensen that didn't cost or undisclosed. That's over £300 million worth of talent on that playing side. It's Fulham are doing very well then, aren't they?
Well, when you look at it like that, they're doing exceptionally well because Fulham obviously haven't. They spent a little bit in the summer. I think it was 100 million. I think they spent in the summer. People would say, was it money well spent? The jury's still out on that. But when you look at it, you can't compete.
Because if Eden Hazard is up for sale tomorrow, Fulham can't buy him. A Paris Saint-Germain, a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, a Manchester City, and maybe Manchester United. Maybe Manchester United. I never thought I'd say that.
Yes.
But they are, that's the worth of these players that are on show for Chelsea today.
Yeah, when you talk about Hazard, you're looking at teams that are powerhouses in the game that can afford it.
Absolutely. Let's just talk through the sides. Full of white shirts, black shorts and white socks. We'll be attacking the goal away to my left-hand side. They trail by 2 goals to 1. It's currently with Tim Ream, who runs into trouble with Kante. Lovely ball by William straight to Higuain. He's into the box. The left-back Brian gets back. Surely that's a foul. Thought there should have been a foul there on Joe Bryan. There was a definite push. He slipped to the turf, but Graham Scott, our referee, decided against it, Rufus.
That's right, and that's the one thing with Higuain is the ball's got to him and he just hasn't got that turn of pace that would have taken him away there. Thought he was going to get his shot off, but Brian got back, thought he clipped his heels and give a free kick away, but the referee decided not to.
There we go, let's run through the sides while the ball's in the midfield area. Sergio Rico in goal. It's a back 4 of Dennis Atoy, Harvard Neufeld, Tim Ream and Joe Bryan. That's a back 4 from right to left for Fulham. A midfield quartet of Tom Cairney, Callum Chambers, Kevin McDonald and Ryan Sessegnon, with Ryan Babel just off of Alexander Mitrovic for Fulham. Chelsea in goal, Kepa Arrizabalaga back in after his one game dropping to the bench in midweek after keeper game last week in the Carabao Cup final. Back four of Emerson on the left, Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, and Cesar Azpilicueta, who is at right back. Then it's a midfield triumvirate, three in the engine room. Ross Barkley, Jorginho and N'Golo Kante are the three there. And then the front three, William on the right, Higuain through the centre, and Hazard, well, he can go anywhere he wants as the ball just goes forward. I say that because he's such a talented footballer. Chelsea are on the attack at the moment, and it's back to Azpilicueta, down the line and headed infield by William. Nice play by Barkley and Jorginho and Higuain before spreading the ball out to the man on the left, breaking into the Fulham penalty area. It's a shot low, taken at the second attempt there by Eden Hazard's shot. Just came out of Rico's hands, but they do like that ball out to him, don't they?
They do, and you know, they drag all the Fulham players to one side, then do that quick switch where Hazard's got plenty of time on the ball, as they did then. He's come inside onto his right side, a low shot, goalkeeper smothered it.
One ball out by Zika, headed down by Christensen. Emerson on the halfway line, trying to get around Ryan Sessegnon on the far side. Sessegnon forces a mistake out of the Chelsea left back. It's thrown down the line, headed on by Mitrovic. Christensen's in pole position to hook it over his shoulder while facing his own goal, and he does so. But Adoy steals it off the toes of Barkley, and Fulham are back in possession on the halfway line. Joe Bryant, left-hand side, further left to Ryan Babel, who tries to cut inside of two Chelsea players. Still in possession of the football. Short pass to Tom Kearney from McDonald. Just looked a little bit bereft of ideas there. They tried to go forward to Chambers, but the tempo with the way they're playing the ball forward has allowed Chelsea, and this is what good sides do. People know this. Rufus Brevet, the former Fulham defender, will come to this in a moment as Chambers crosses it. Arrizabalaga will take it. The good sides, the really, really good sides, still do the horrible stuff.
Yes.
They get themselves in shape, and it's just a matter of course to drop in and support.
That's right, and that's what all they do, as well as it's all good playing with the ball, but it's what you do without the ball that really does separate the really good sides.
And that was, I think that was testimony there just a moment when Fulham had the football. Chelsea were doing their, right, let's get back in, difficult to break down. We know they've got a wonderful player going forward, but they did the thing that people don't always see. Defending is still an art. Yes. People tend to forget it. Near side note, William takes on the left back of Fulham, right, tries to slip it in between a diminishing gap, but spot by Babel. Chelsea is still in possession. N'Golo Kante is fed down this near side, checks one way and then the other, back to William. William at the apex of the Fulham penalty box, driving in with his right foot. Visitor shot in. Rico spills. Has it gone out for a corner? I couldn't see from here, Rufus.
Well, it looked like it did. Is William protesting that it wasn't, but he's done well there, William. A little step over, gone down the line, drives it at the goalkeeper. It looked like it did go out for a corner, to be fair. It did look like an...
It's gone from
definitely went out for a corner.
Yeah, very acute angle there. Rico's done well to get something down and drag it back in play, but that could have been quite embarrassing. No VAR, will be in play soon for the Premier League, but at the moment, the good old referee's eye and the commentator's eye have got to do the best to sort it out for you. Tim Ream on the football. Straight ball up to the halfway line to Babel. Babel cuts back in field and into his own half. Needs an outball. The outball's a nice little dip ball towards Adoy, but it's poorly placed and it's cut out by Emerson. But good work by Kenny to win it back from an errant touch by Eden Hazard. And McDonald has it. And the applause goes up from Fulham, appreciative of the work that Fulham are doing themselves against a very talented Chelsea outfit. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. 50 minutes into this game. 40 still to go. Game is not dead. Higuain and Jorginho, the goal scorers in the first half for Chelsea. Callum Chambers for Fulham. Battle of the game very similar. Still think Chelsea would like to wrap this up if they can quicker, but Fulham showing a tenacious appetite here. So give the ball away, trying to thread the eye of a needle. That was Tom Kearney, and William drives forward. Well, that's... I'll leave that one for you, Rufus, because the pass from, I'll just explain, the pass had gone from William's feet into the feet of Higuain, whose first touch was poor and he lost it. The return, which William anticipated, he got blocked for. Is that a foul?
I think it is. When you look at, I think it's McDonald that just left his trailing leg out. I think McDonald knew what he was doing. William had ran past him, he stuck his leg out, he's gone over the leg. I think it is free.
Chelsea free kick taken quickly, halfway line. Jorginho driving towards the goal to my right, into the feet of Higuain, back to goal. Loose touch though, next Fulham that comes away. With the win to Kenny. Kenny still pressed by Jorginho. And the pressing by Chelsea at the moment is very, very good. Fulham being limited to trying to play balls out from the edge of their 18 and then giving it away.
And that's a problem which has happened time and time again. You know, Chelsea are pressing them at the back. The rush ball forward, it's not of the quality to pick out Mitrovic, and then the attack just keeps
What a ball that is by Jorginho into the boxes. William rifles it into the side net. Difficult angle, always closing, but just one simple ball.
And again, that's what it is. It's Brian that's looking at William. He's got round Brian, and he's gone for the near post, and he's at the side net.
Just see the former Fulham defender Rufus Brevitt saying, give me 1 year back in the Premiership in my prime. That's what you want, isn't it?
That'll be nice.
Not to play football, just to get those monster wages there.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Right, Chelsea 15 attempts already in this game to Fulham's 5. On target just 6, which is means that Sergio Rico has had his palm stung a few times. Chelsea will build with Jorginho. So drives right through the centre up to the halfway line. Again, a clip ball looking for William to run in behind Joe Bryan, but Bryan this time a little closer, manages to force William outside the penalty area. Overlap comes from N'Golo Kante. He's drilled it in from close proximity. It's rattled against the hand of Tim Ream. Everybody saw that, everybody asked for it, but really, a foot and a half away, he's never going to do anything.
He's not going to get it. His arms by his side. He's a yard away from Kante. He's fizzed at him. Yeah, it's been very, very harsh if the referee did that.
Although I think one of the first time balls I ever saw given on that sort of thing, Stuart Pearce, Euro 1996 against Switzerland. Couldn't even see where the ball had come from with low-gate penalty. I love referees for making the game, but in other ways. There we go. Graham Scott, though, in charge of today's game, is I think handled it very, very well so far.
He's done really well, the referee. A couple of decisions that he's made, tough decisions, but he's handled the game really well.
Don't forget, the best way to look forward to a Premier League weekend is to subscribe to Talk Sports Premier League Preview Show podcast, which is out every Thursday, where people join Tom Rennie and former footballing legends like Rufus Brevitt who will be there and discuss the games that are coming up. Being a footballist, it really goes to plan, does it?
That's right.
You look at the form and then the form goes upside down. It hasn't though here as Chelsea come forward with Azpilicueta down the line to William, back to Cesar. Azpilicueta, first time ball around the corner by Jorginho, tries to get Higuain into the Fulham penalty area. It's well read by Harvard Nordwijk, who clears the ball away. But their first time pass is very, very good Chelsea today.
It's really crisp, it's really quick as well, and they're just breaking the Fulham lines.
An old phrase in football, you've got to score your goals when you're in top. Now, Chelsea are 2-1 up. That doesn't mean that they're not going to go on and win it, but I think Maurizio Sarri would like to see a little bit more daylight between the two.
I think so, yes. They've got into some really good positions, Chelsea, but I'm sure he definitely just want to fix this game up.
Yeah, he just wants to put it into the pocket, yes, and then be able to manage it from a safe distance, really, doesn't he? As Barkley tries to play it to Hazard. It's a Doyle, quick feet, goes past Hazard, drives towards the halfway line. Plays it into the channel, Sessegnon drives forward. Christensen's there, but I think Andreas Christensen does really well. Body across the ball. Sessegnon gave it a good effort, but it's always favouring the defender.
Yeah, it was one of them where Christians just ran across, the ball's going out of play, and he just made sure that Sessegnon just wasn't going to get to the ball.
2-1, that's 1-0. Then he takes one strange decision from maybe an official or maybe a defender or whatever, and you could find yourself back to 2-2.
Yeah.
And we know today that the Craven Cottage faithful pretty much supporting their side on everything they do as the ball is flicked down the line by William to Kante. Kante inside to Hazard. Hazard sweeps it out to the left-hand side as Chelsea attack the goal away to my right. Barkley leaves it for Emerson. This is level with the 18-yard box now as he plays it infield to Barkley. Barkley short pass to Hazard. First time layup to Jorginho. And they've worked a nice bit of space now for William to drive into the penalty area. Rolls it back to the edge. Hazard opens his body, tries to curl it in. 3 Fulham players there to block it. Chambers, Nordveit and Kearney, and the ball breaks to Ryan Babel, throws it through to Mitrovic, who will be surprised that after 57 minutes he's got one on his feet.
He got the ball to his feet, and you know that if it goes to his feet he can hold that ball up.
The ball goes out on the left hand side and Barkley tracks it on to Brian Sessler and thought it dispossessing him, although the Fulham faithful seem to think there was a little bit of the former Everton man's body into the challenge. But Graham Scott agreed there wasn't, and Chelsea are on the football. Jorginho scored that beautiful goal, was allowed to pick a spot from the edge of the box. And the Chelsea fans are now in fine voice. Jorginho picks it up into the bit of Higuain that just passed off first time. Interesting there that Higuain sprinted off of Nordveit, laid it off, and then Nordveit arrived in the picture.
Yes.
Reactionary more than anticipationary there. And that possibly is why Higuain's had one very good goal and one very good save at the keeper. Crossfield pass beats the Doy out to Emerson. Emerson first time ball back into Hazard. Hazard inside the Fulham box as Rico looks out on the right hand side, back to his left foot, wants something, finds N'Golo Kante. First touch wasn't great. N'Golo Kante danced across the 18-yard box, let through the legs of Hazard to Emerson. Emerson stands the ball up. N'Golo Kante's there. Brian hacks it, not clear, just across the penalty area to Hazard. He tries to go inside of Badoy, and in the end rifles the ball right across the 6-yard box, and there's no blue shirts gambling on it.
Well, again, Hazard again is really tight to the line on this left-hand side. Goes past the door, drives it across the face of the box, and there is no Chelsea player there at the back stick.
There's a question that just came into my head. Hazard is world class. No two ways about it. We've said that only certain players can actually certain teams can actually purchase him. How hard is it to tell a player like Eden Hazard, if he just maybe goes on the pitch one day and doesn't put the full Eden Hazard calibre and quality on show, to tell him off?
I think you'd look for your teammates to say something as well. You know, it's not just down to the manager. You're playing with these players week in, week out, and I think if their standards drop, you have to tell them.
Barkley drives towards the Fulham penalty area, plays it left hand side to Hazard. Hazard into the Fulham box, tries to shoot, blocked by Adoy's right foot, and Sessegnon comes away with the football. Look at that man, the diminutive Belgian chasing back, and that's testament to doing the nitty-gritty stuff. Good crossfield pass there for Fulham, finds Babel. Babel tries to take on Azpilicueta, doubled up though very quickly with N'Golo Kante, but he's done well as Ryan Babel. Mitrovic gets a little touch here from Christensen, fires a shot just over the crossbar, out of nothing. Fulham almost equalised, and Alexander Mitrovic, I used to hear it said about goalkeepers being in the goal and making a world-class save out of nowhere. Mitrovic has had very little to do in this game, and then all of a sudden dances across the face of the 18-yard box and puts one just over the crossbar.
Again, you know, he's had little to do, but the ball's come to him, and I thought he was just going to slip Sessegnon in there. He held on to the ball. He's just on the edge of the box, has the shot with his right foot, just curls over the ball. And again, out of nothing, Fulham created a chance. Yeah,
it could have been 2-2, and that's really what Maurizio Sarri will be concerned about. There has been total dominance at times from Chelsea. They've had some terrific chances. Sergio Rico's pulled off a couple of very good saves, but it's only 2-1 as William tries to go inside the full-back Joe Bryan, who gets back and blocks him off. Doing some bit of work there by Joe Bryan. Stuck to his task well there.
Really good defending there from the Fulham left back.
Chelsea though back into the centre circle on the Fulham side with Christensen square down to Kante. Kante through the hole, easy for William now to take on the left back again into the Fulham penalty area. Gets across the face. Rico pushes it out to the edge of the box. It's just amazing way either Ryan Sessegnon will carry the ball out and shows Jorginho a clean pair of heels and somehow stumbles past Emerson before being clipped by Jorginho, but that was quite surprising how quickly Jorginho seems to be outpaced.
Well, we've seen Jorginho. He hasn't really got the legs when he's chasing players, and Sessegnon just literally walked past him, and then as he's gone past Christensen, it's like he took a stumble.
Well, they can see the foul on him there, can't you?
Yeah, and that was he's caught him on his ankle.
But the stumble to get past Christensen, nobody could have read. Not in the whole of the wide world, because it was one of those where he almost fell over and fell through him.
Yeah, he did, and he found himself with the ball.
Yes. So it looks as though a yellow card for Jorginho.
I don't think he's got any complaints really with that one.
There's going to be a change for Fulham. Kevin McDonald is coming on. Frank Gisa comes on. And £30 million for the Cameroon man from Marseille. 23 years of age. Kane played a long part in the game on Wednesday night, and not sure he's quite like for Kevin McDonald.
No, he's a different type of player, but he's someone that really massive price tag. But it's all we paying some of that.
Who sits in the formation is my concern just at the moment, because of McDonald and Chambers were providing a little bit of a solid facing from that back four, and Anguissa is one that likes to go forward. Well, in for a pound maybe, Scott Parker sticking in. Free kick drilled into the box. Deep, Chambers round the back, tries to volley it in. Well read by Christensen, but a nice ball that picked out Callum Chambers.
It was good movement from Chambers as well. Just peeled off to the back stick, tried to just put it back across the face of the goal, and Christian, good defending.
Fulham get a corner. 63 on the clock. It's their third. She's their visitors. Chelsea. Gone out for a throw. Looks as though it may have gone out for a throw. So Brian throws it in to Kenny. Kenny back to Brian. Good work by William. Fairness held by Kenny, but Kenny had absolutely nowhere to go with the football. Was looking for an answer, but just had it taken off his toes. Throw to Fulham. Brian back to Ream. Ream back to Nordveit. Shut down quite quickly by Higuain. In the end, clips it up to Babel. Babel effects some sort of play on the ball to Kearney, and now it's picked up by Brian. Brian faced up by Jorginho. Fulham doing well there. Nice ball played by Babel to Kearney. Kearney finds Chambers. Chambers out to Sessegnon. Sessegnon edge of the box back to Chambers. Chambers has got the overlap from Adoy. Adoy's ball into the box. Sees Barkley stabbing back towards the dead ball line before a clearance by another Chelsea defender, but all of a sudden a little bit of brawl going around the ground.
Yeah, it is. They're getting the ball on the edge of the box, getting the ball out wide. Expecting a little bit better when you're in the final third.
Easton now on a football for his first time, facing his own goal. Had no option under pressure from Eden Hazard to play it back from inside the Chelsea half, back to Rico. Green gives it back to Anguissa, who gets himself turned facing the right way. 65 on the clock here. You're listening to Premier League Live. You can tweet us at TalkSport Live. Sessegnon tries to get in behind. Emerson ball into the box. Well read by Antonio Rudiger. Didn't quite make it on the penalty spot to Mitrovic. And Chelsea, just at this present moment, are just feeling a little bit of a Fulham resurgence.
Yeah, they are. Fulham are getting down the sides and getting good balls in the boxes. Sessegnon there showed his good pace. Just couldn't quite pick Mitrovic out in the centre of the pitch.
Balaga gives it out to Rudiger. Rudiger straight ball, but out to his left-hand side to Barkley. Barkley now back to Rudiger. Rudiger makes his way slowly towards the halfway line. Finally engaged by Tom Kearney, and now Rudiger has to spin back and roll it all the way back to Kepa Arrizabalaga. To Rudiger. Fulham maybe trying a little higher press now. And an attempt to get it. It's given away by Jorginho to Anguissa. Anguissa to Kearney. Kearney back to Chambers. Ball slightly behind him. Tempo goes out of this move. Do I sense that Fulham fancy a little bit here, Rufus?
I think what they've done there, they're certainly pressing Chelsea now in Chelsea's half and getting players up further up the pitch.
Gisa to Northwhite threads the arm in with Kenny full of it, pulling the trigger, does, sweeps it low, and it's a Balaga away to his left-hand side, parries the ball out, it'll be Sessegnon that keeps it in. Emerson makes a mistake, Sessegnon into the box, low ball in this time, can't find Mitrovic in the middle of the 6-yard box, and diving away from his left-hand post, Kepa, Arrizabalaga goes down and smothers the ball. Up goes the tempo, up goes the noise inside Craven Cottage again.
Yeah, it does, and Sessegnon, it was one of them where he just didn't give it up, kept the ball in play, drove into the box, and then just couldn't pick a Fulham player out. It's good play from Fulham.
Good play from Fulham indeed. I'm joined alongside me by the former Fulham defender Rufus Brevitt. We're enjoying a game of football which really didn't seem to be on the cards at the start, and Fulham's right down there, left-hand side. Bryce, do you get the ball in? Blocked by William doing the hard work.
It's like it's a different Fulham team this last 5 minutes.
It has been a very, very enjoyable game so far. Everybody, including myself, would have put a big cross against an away win here. I know it currently is an away win for Chelsea, but it's certainly not very comfortable for them.
Well, it's not, and Fulham are certainly playing their part now.
Kenny, can he stand this ball up for a short corner? He does so. Mitrovic heads it down, but across the face of goal. Well worked there by the Serbian. He was stood in between two centre-halves, held them up and got his header down, but not quite goalwards.
No, and again, it was a short corner, just clipped in from Kearney. He drove, and again, it was in between two Chelsea players, but just couldn't direct his header goalwards.
Well, I'll tell you what, VAR might look at Andreas Christensen and say there was a lot of bodily contact. Kovacic is come and come on. It's going to be Jorginho who maybe had a little burst of pace from Sessegnon just moments ago. Said to Mr. Sarri that he needs to get him off, keep him safe for the midweek game.
Yes. I mean, he's got his goal.
It must be terrible to have to replace Jorginho with Kovacic on loan from Real Madrid.
Yes. That's the luxury that these teams have got.
Chelsea have managed to get the ball out, although I think Antonio Rudiger, if he had time to run over and have a word with his keeper, might have had a few words in his shell line there, because that was a very poor ball to him, but he's managed to fashion something out of it. And Chelsea break forward on Gisa, rather crudely brings down William just inside the half of Fulham. It has been a very... Scott Parker has had an effect. I think he said earlier on in the week that I'm not saying we can win games. He said, but we're going to play in a way that you're going to enjoy. That may be paraphrasing it a bit, and I think he's shown that already.
Yeah, I think he has. I think you've certainly seen a difference in this Fulham team. You know, especially the last 10 minutes they've been very good.
Chelsea though, still with a whip hand here, leading by 2-1. No goals in this second half, all the goals coming in the first half. Higuain on 20, scoring the first goal. Equalised by Callum Chambers, who had the freedom of the Chelsea penalty area to put a fine finish away past Arrizabalaga. He held that parity for 2 minutes before Jorginho picked his spot from the edge of the Fulham box to make it 2-1. And William and Joe Bryant, full-back there from the full-back club.
Yeah,
Wilson might have gone, but I'm still tackling you.
Well, yeah, I think he just tried to get hold of the ball, and the ref I'm sure just going to have a little quiet word with them, a little shake of hands, and then think
I think you'd sort of get that on Hackney Marshes or any wreck anywhere you go. You're laughing, aren't you?
He wasn't happy, was he, or William? He wasn't happy with that.
No, but what I do love is Joe Bryan, the fullback's face. This is from fullback masterclass. This is what have I done?
Yeah.
Right in front of the Chelsea manager, you kicked one of his star players, and then you sort of say, "Well, what did I do?"
And he's got the throw in as well. To make matters worse.
Yeah, the world's always against you sometimes, isn't it? But anyway, Fulham trail by 2-1. We're into the 71st minute. And don't forget, you are listening to Premier League Live. If you want to get involved with today's commentary, it's at TalkSport Live as well. Best way to look ahead to a Premier League weekend is to subscribe to TalkSport's Premier League Preview Show podcast, which is out every Thursday. It's going to be change for Fulham, and it is Babel that is going off, and he is going to be replaced by Floyd Aite. So a little bit of legs here. Ryan Babel had a better game today, I think, than he did on Wednesday evening against Southampton. But Scott Parker's certainly looking to put a little bit more pressure, I think, on the Chelsea rear guard.
You know that he's got pace, and I'm sure Fulham will try to exploit that pace.
Yeah, he's a little live wire. He's on the football straight away, bearing down on the apex of the Chelsea penalty area. But Azpilicueta in front of him. Tries to get to the dead ball line, plays it off the legs of Azpilicueta, and it goes out for a corner. And Fulham got a bit of previous from corners. Callum Chambers in the first half scoring from one, and they've certainly just had another header from Mitrovic. So Chelsea beware.
They've got dangerous from the set pieces, Fulham. A good delivery.
Goal away to my left-hand side. Arrizabalaga looks out. Sessegnon delivers. Right across. Mitrovic on the chest. Rolls it back. Shot comes in. Saved by Arrizabalaga. The shot was curled in gently by Joe Bryan from the edge of the box.
It was no real conviction in his shot. Just curled it in there. Decent save. Comfortable save from the Chelsea goalkeeper.
But what Fulham have done with this pressure at the moment as Kenny goes forward. Lovely feet by Kenny. Starts past 2 or 3. Callum Chambers to Kenny. Gets in. Rudiger clears another corner. What they've done, Fulham, is they've turned an all-seater stadium into a standing stadium. The fans are on their feet.
They're on their feet. They're cheering. They're driving them forward. And Fulham are certainly reacting. And it was Kearney. Good little feet. And he just forced another corner, and again, Fulham have looked dangerous from corners.
Arrizabalaga looks out to his left-hand side, goal away to my left, filled in, headed away by Ross Barkley. Ryan on the volley, back in, headed away this time by Hazard. I mean, in fairness, no Kovacic. Breaks out on the far side, delivery back into the box again, round the back, Mitrovic stretches every sinew, but it clears his head and goes away. Chelsea are not wobbly, but they're under some pressure.
They're under pressure, and it was a good ball in there from Sessegnon. He's come out to him, he's got it onto his left side, curled it in there, and it just eluded the head of Mitrovic and went out for a goal.
Pedro is being warmed up by Chelsea to come on. Fighting fire, I feel, now with fire. Then in Hazard, his shift is over. He's into Cotton Wall now before Dynamo Kiev in the week. And it's Sarri gives him a cuddle. Again, a nice little replacement if you can afford it.
That's right. And again, is Pedro, that he's going to be lively. And again, he's got that little bit of quality, isn't he?
He's got that ability to find a bit of space and make it even bigger. Ironic cheers in the background just a moment ago, though, as Anguissa tries to twist and turn away. Kepa Arrizabalaga with his kick out to find his man, goes straight out of play. Gave the Fulham fans and the faithful a little more to just cheer, which is all they need at the moment.
That's all they need, yes.
Good fight, short pass to Anguissa. Anguissa turns and faces. Midway in his own half here, plays it out to Odoi. Odoi now checks, under pressure from William, goes back to Northwaite square to Reeve. N'Golo Kante comes to shut the space down. Short ball to Kenny. Kenny first time ball to Aite. Kenny just waiting. My word, the speed that N'Golo Kante got there was exceptional. And Anguissa with a loose touch gives the football away. And Chelsea would want to play a bit of keep ball, you fancy, for the next 5 or 10 minutes just to take the sting out of it.
You see the difference now when Chelsea have got it in there off. Fulham are closing them down. Whereas before they were just letting them have it, close down the off-way line, won it back again here with Chambers.
Yeah, Chambers goes outside Kovacic, crosses the ball in, it's not a ball in. Azpilicueta heads it away, and N'Golo Kante drives away from his own penalty area. Away to my left, heading right, finds Barkley in a lot of space. Barkley's got Willian out to his left. He plays it to Willian. Willian breaks into the penalty area. Right foot shot blocked by Odoi, corner to Chelsea. Swift counter attack.
Well, that's the danger when Fulham are pressing them in the Chelsea half. If it breaks down, Chelsea have got the speed and the guile to catch them with a counter.
Some Fulham fans may well be forgiven. Yes, Dennis Odoi was in the right position at the right time there. Often a long way up the field of play when Fulham have been on the attack, but this time was back. Corner about to be swung in by Willian, headed away by Reeve, edge of the box. Kovacic tries to cushion the volley down to Kante, cut out by Kenny. Kenny finds Anguissa. Anguissa being dragged back by the ever-lengthening shirt. Christensen there, that should be a yellow card, surely.
Well, you think it should be a yellow card. You saw, it wasn't a light pull, it was a big pull of his shirt.
Well, Jorginho had got a yellow card, but in the first half was just gently tugged, and the Fulham player received a yellow card. Didn't appear to be one there. Graham Scott maybe he has to have one sort of mistake just to make it perfect, in my opinion. Far side there, Ryan Sessegnon. Fulham attacking the goal away to my left-hand side, back to Odoi. Nordveit, square, midway point of his own half for Fulham to Ream, back to Nordveit, who now sends a 40-yard ball up. Mitrovic has made a run through. Well, Fancy said if he got close to the bubble, he might have been offside. Yeah,
I think he probably was. It was a good line from the Chelsea back four.
And certainly, knowing Alexander Mitrovic and seeing him quite a few times, it wouldn't have been blind impatient to him that far forward. He's a good old-fashioned centre forward that holds the ball up well.
He is.
Not Michael Owen back in the day. Chelsea just trying to take the sting out of the game. They lead by 2 goals to 1. Kovacic exchanges passes with Emerson on the halfway line. Willian cuts in from the Chelsea left, goes back to Antonio Rudiger just trots up to the halfway line before playing it out to Cesar Azpilicueta. N'Golo Kante. He really doesn't stop, does he, that man?
He hasn't stopped moving, has not stopped running.
Yeah, you'd sort of say that his fitness levels are so good that possibly, as the ball is played through the centre by Higuain, trying to find Barkley, but Fulham thwart it. I won't go any further than what I'm saying, but you would think he's taking lots of sugary drinks. Yeah. His energy levels are fantastic.
Yeah, unbelievable. Really are. And we're in the 77th minute and he's still driving around the pitch at pace.
Yeah, and it's that real pace that's surprising a lot of the Fulham midfielders. Ross Barkley is being replaced by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who comes on. Pretty good shift by the former Everton man. He's just waiting to see if it's really going to click for Ross Barkley.
I think he's done well today. He's been really good on the ball. He hasn't really given the ball away, to be fair. He's been good on the ball. He's closed people down, shown good energy.
Yeah.
So you look at it and think, is he really going to, cement a place in this team?
Well, he's keeping out Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who's superb for Crystal Palace, superb for England, and by his game time, very difficult to get at Chelsea.
Yes.
And it becomes not a major situation, because if you don't play Callum Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and other sides want to get them, you don't want to sell them, do you?
No, and the young players, they're going to want to play football.
Yeah, and they need to, in fairness. William breaking forward now, tries to take on Sessegnon, just level the 18-yard box of Fulham. Comes in off the Chelsea left-hand side. Kovacic back down, and now Emerson finds himself in a little bit of space. Little flick ball into the box to Loftus-Cheek, back to goal, running towards the corner flag. Goes down after a little bit of skin-to-skin action with Harvard Nordveit.
Yeah, and the referee was in good position, saw everything, and just said, play on.
And here's going to be a change here. Tom Kearney is being removed, which I'm not surprised. I think he's been very influential, but maybe on his way back. He got replaced in midweek, trying to see who they were looking to bring on for him, but
Vieto.
He has been very, very well. Sorry,
I think it's Vieto that's
Luciano Vieto is going to make his way onto the field of play after time forward. So maybe that's the try and get somebody up alongside Mitrovic.
Yes, I think that's what they're looking to do. Get someone a little bit closer to Mitrovic. These last 10 minutes, they're going to have to really go for it and see if they can get a goal. And it's a foul throw, which you don't really see that.
No,
and it's Odoi that has lifted his foot up as he took the throw in.
I can actually tell you a story about foul throws. My son was playing for Oxford United boys years ago, and they had training referees and linesmen. And I was watching the boys put their foot on the field of play and throwing the ball in. And I said to the linesman, the referee's assistant, I said, that's a foul throw, he's got his foot on the pitch. He told me where to go, which was nice of him, but he said we don't have to check that anymore. And I thought, well, what are we doing?
Really?
Yeah, really.
great.
But there we go. I just love the way, even at my tender years, the referee still told me where to go. The referee's assistant in those days. I told me. Anyway, back to the game. 81st minute, Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. Crossfield ball from Chelsea. Badoi has to get there, does get there, heads it up in the air, and a volley away from the edge of his box by Nordvik. Nieto gets his first touch in, tries to outpace Christensen, but was always going to be second best with that. Christensen had a yard and a half on him. When he played the ball round him, he hit him too strong as well. Fulham have got a side that, should they get relegated, should they keep it together, do you think they can bounce back?
I think so, yeah. You know, and that's the thing. I think if they do go down, how many of these players are they gonna keep? You know.
Good work there from William, who tries towards the halfway line. Ball inside to Loftus-Cheek, who took him really, really well. Covering comes from Tim Ream, but it's William that picks up the loose ball. Level the 18-yard box of Fulham. Drives to the dead ball line, sits a couple down. Callum Chambers, though, wasn't sat down. He stood his ground, and has managed to fashion a little bit of a throw for Fulham. He's done really well there.
He's done brilliant there. You know, he had good battling from Chambers, had a couple of Chelsea players round him, and he's won a throw in for Fulham.
Badoi, deep in his own territory for Fulham, throws it back to the thigh of Nordvik, who looks to drill it long, and then plays it square across his own penalty area to Rico. Rico pulls away to his left-hand side, clips it out, headed on by Aite. So runs across Rudiger, and Kovacic, as the judge reduced his hands. Big smiles on his face. I think that hides or masks maybe a few words that he'd like to have said.
Yeah, I think it does. Again, the referee was spot on his position, so he had a good view of the handball.
Can Fulham find an equaliser in the final? Well, we've got just under 8 regulation minutes in this game before the 90 is up. Maurizio Sarri has gone through quite a few emotions on the touchline. Into the box it goes. Great header by Callum Chambers, who's flying high above Christensen. I think he's maybe caught the head there when he's headed it back across the face of goal. But you know, I don't think I need to say too much, but if you're looking at the Fulham side, if you're a prospective Premier League manager, you'd be looking at Callum Chambers and saying, he's quite a player.
Do you know what? I think he's been really, really good. He's, as I say, he's really competitive. He's good in either box, defensive and attacking, and he's done really well today.
He has. It's the second game I've seen him in quick succession. I thought he was very, very good against Southampton in amongst the plethora of a poor side it was under Claudio Ranieri at St Mary's on Wednesday evening. There are little bright spots in this Fulham side that you can see could have. Maybe they've got a side that's 2 years ahead of its time.
Yes, yeah. When you look at the players that they've got. But as you say, can they bounce straight back?
Well, let's see. They're 2-1 down at home here on Premier League Live. TalkSport Live on Twitter. Badoi tries to play it into Sessegnon. Well read by Emerson. Emerson to William. William that far touchline as Chelsea attack the goal away to my right. Inside to Loftus-Cheek. First time ball down the channel. Finds the fullback Emerson. Drives towards the dead ball line. Flicks it right across the face of goal. Took a ricochet. And Joe Bryan with the presence of mind to stop it while facing his own goal. And then turns and hacks it away for Fulham. But again, danger from Chelsea. But still they only lead by 2 goals to 1. And it's getting to that nervy time that any side in the world finds. Great ball played through there to Sessegnon, trying to take it first time. I think who that player was that played that ball, but it was a lovely pass.
It was a good pass, a defence splitting pass. But Ericsson read the run of Sessegnon and just tidied it up.
I think it was Vieto that passed that through.
I think it was Vieto, yes.
The larger time picked had a lovely ball. But, just fancy Chelsea need one more to really give themselves a less than frightful last 5 minutes. Loftus-Cheek side puts one step past 2. The tackles are flying in. Pedro tries to get it down. Keystone Cops defended by Fulham, but it was bodies on the line. Mitrovic has been adjudged to go from offside to onside as the ball broke up to the halfway line. But for a minute there, you thought that the trigger was going to get pulled by Loftus-Cheek, who switched the ball out to Willian, got it back, stepped away from Nordby, and all of a sudden the bodies were all over the place, like fall as a beach, broke second time round, but he had to tiptoe through it.
You thought that he had to get his shot off early, delayed, and by the time he delayed, Fulham probably had 5 or 6 players in the box around him.
There were players everywhere. Just watch the replay down there. He cut inside one, 2 dropped to their knees virtually, but that actually shut a lot of space up for him, didn't it?
Yeah.
Chelsea 2-1 up into the final 4 minutes here at Craven Cottage. It's been an absolute thrilling game. If there's half as much excitement in the Merseyside derby that follows us between Everton and Liverpool, you're in for an absolute cracker. Get the 233rd Merseyside derby is on after us, and you can listen to that with John Anderson and Alan McLaughlin on Premier League Line. We'll just concentrate now. 30 attempts in this game. 4 on target for Fulham, 7 for Chelsea, 11. It's 4 from 11 for Fulham and 7 from 19 for Chelsea. And it has been a game that's bubbled along all the way through, hasn't it?
It has. It's from start to finish, really. It's been a really good game. We will see now Fulham are closing Chelsea down, all really high up the pitch, just giving a free kick away their Chambers.
Yeah, just a little too strong on the back of Loftus-Cheek. Fulham fans will look at this performance in isolation. You'll think maybe if this was October we might be able to do something.
Yes.
Sadly, in the first week of March, and we're still losing, and we're 10 points adrift to safety before today's game.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a really, really good effort. It's not finished yet. It's been a good effort for.
Shown glimpses of promise, hasn't it, for them? Not that they're going to get out of trouble, but they may enjoy the back end of this disastrous season. And make it, they don't want to go out the back door with a whimper, do they?
That's right. We'll go down.
Bit of space to Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek tries to slip in. Big way. Odoi wins it back for Fulham just outside his own penalty area. Flip ball forward. Looking for the runner by Ite. He might get it before Rudiger does. Clips it back in. Mitrovic with a header. Great save by Arrizabalaga. Mitrovic heads and goalwards. What a lovely, lovely move from Fulham. This game is certainly going to boil right to the end.
It is, and it was a long raking pass from Odoi. And it's Aït who's used his pace to get onto the ball. He just flicked it over. Mitrovic is on the penalty spot, and he ends it, and it's a good act for the goalkeeper, but it's a good save. And a big chance for Fulham.
Big chance for Fulham, but what a sweeping move that was for Fulham. Aït's pace. Rudiger stood off him, didn't he? As that ball came in, Rudiger frightened the pace.
Yeah, I think he was. He's looked at it and he knows that he's got pace. Aït just got there, flicked it over his head. And Mitrovic, what a chance.
I really do wonder why there aren't more grey-haired managers. Because when you're watching a game of football like this, and Geese is giving it straight to William. William drives towards the edge of the box. Higuain inside the D. Rolls it up to N'Golo Kante. What a block by Joe Bryan. Got caught by the trailing leg there of N'Golo Kante as he fizzed that shot in. I think he's caught him aside the head. And silence, massive silence. I think the temple is the area that people are more worried about. He's moving, but there was a hell of an effort by N'Golo Kante, one of those classic comic pictures where both feet's off the ground as he drills a shot goalwards, but the follow-through just caught the falling ball back.
He's just caught him on his head, and the rest pulled up play. Scott Parker's having a word with a couple of players.
He can take a lot of heart from this performance, can't he?
Definitely, I think, from first half, started a little bit tenderly, but as the game's gone on, they've grown into the game, and the last 20 minutes, they've really gone at Chelsea, trying to get this equaliser.
Yeah, they've sort of nullified Chelsea in a way. You always feel Chelsea, dare I say it, with 5 additional minutes to play, have another gear. But Chelsea in team play haven't put that distance between them that you feel they should have done, which has allowed Fulham to grow as the game has gone on.
And that's always dangerous when when you have have chances to kill the game and you don't. There's always a chance that, you know, you could concede one in the last minute, as we've seen before. So, you know, it's another 5 minutes. It's not over yet.
Scott Parker did play for Chelsea, for Charlton. He made the admission that it was fair to say he never quite felt part of the Chelsea team when he was there. Just 25 appearances, I think it was. 21 in his first season, 4 in the title-winning season. A very tidy midfielder in his day. This ball goes back in play. Loftus Cheek though wins it back. Loose ball to Pedro, cut out by Tim Ream. He just gets it away from danger on the halfway line. It's picked up by Chelsea again. Azpilicueta down this right-hand side to N'Golo Kante. Pedro back to Azpilicueta, who does the big diagonal, looking to get over the head of Dennis Adoy, who wins the header and heads it away. William was waiting in the trap. Chelsea attacking a goal away to my right-hand side. I sit very much as the television pictures here will show. William knocks it forward. Loftus Cheek holds off on Gisa, who wraps a leg round him and hooks it away. Up to Vieto. Vieto to Sessegnon. His ball would have been for Mitrovic. He hadn't spanned whilst the ball was in the air and tried to run in behind. And Chelsea come forward. On Gisa this time, as unceremoniously said to William, have a little look at the turf here at Craven Cottage via the body-to-body actions. Yes, and
you know, he's just driving it at the Fulham midfield play. He's just cut inside him, and he's just brought him down.
He bought the foul there as well, didn't he?
He did, yes.
He knew what he was doing. It was almost a good old dark art there. We're into time added on. If I go down with a squeal and a bit of a cry, I'm going to take a few seconds and a bit of wind out of their sails.
Yes, certainly knew what he was doing.
The rain still sweeps across Craven Cottage as William gives the ball to Anguissa. Anguissa tries to feed it up, but it's a poor ball, no accuracy to Mitrovic. Although Fulham are into the line to chuck it up there and see what falls out of the sky as a hook ball forward by Callum Chambers is caught on a second bounce by Kepa Arrizabalaga, and the Chelsea goal away to my left. Could you argue with the score as it is?
Not really. I mean, Fulham have, you know, the last 20 minutes they've really gone at Chelsea, but Chelsea have been pretty comfortable in what they've done.
Indeed, there's been some palm singing for both keepers. Zabalaga has made a couple as N'Golo Kante plays it out towards Pedro. That was a do-or-die challenge that Joe Bryan had to get right, and he did inside his own penalty area, slid in and won the ball. Higuain outside the Fulham penalty area, rolls it back to the halfway line to Christensen. 93.5 minutes have elapsed. We've got a minimum of 5 to play at the end of this game here at Craven Cottage. We hope you've enjoyed it, but the games keep rolling in. Next up, it's the 233rd Merseyside derby between Everton and Liverpool. Liverpool just beaten once this season. Everton have never beaten a side in the Premier League that are above them. And we can throw back to Divock Origi's fantastic winning goal for Liverpool. Well, it certainly wasn't a chance for Sessegnon. It's going in, the whistle's gone, and the flag is up. Just talking about the Merseyside derby, as a lone ball was thrust up towards the Chelsea penalty area. And in the end, after a coming together, the ball broke to Ryan Sessegnon, who in space rolled it past Arrizabalaga. But the flag is up on the far side. Rufus is having a good look now. Well, Rufus, we're seeing it in slow motion.
Seeing it slow-mo there, but the linesman is dead in line, and he's probably just off.
Do you know, if you're Fulham's fullback today, that was never offside. If you're a Chelsea fullback, you said he got it absolutely right. I know what you fullbacks like. You love a bit of flag action when you're on the defending side.
That is correct. Spot on.
Anyway, Fulham thought they'd equalise, but they haven't, and we are into that final minute. This time Emerson drops Sessegnon to the floor. And it's going to be a free kick, and it really is going to be a chance to chuck it into that penalty area. We're watching the game, the slow-mo on the booth next to us. Oh my word, it is offside.
Well, it's his right leg. His right leg's offside.
Oh my word. See, when you played at my standard, you only had to shout for the flag to go up.
And it'll be up.
Right. Ball goes into the penalty area of Chelsea, headed away by Azpilicueta. Adoy. Not sure, he's sort of shanked it high towards the edge of the box. Mitrovic and Rima there, it's bouncing. Mitrovic has made a nuisance of himself, and now there's a foul given. Graham Scott Short creep of the whistle. We're into time added on. At the end of time added on, it looks like it's going to be 3 points to Stamford Bridge and none for Scott Parker on his first appearance as Fulham's manager.
Yeah, he's Mitrovic. We know that he's strong and big, and he just bumped into the Chelsea centre half who then just fell to the floor. And I think that's about it.
That is about it. I think this should hit the fresh air above the pitch here at Craven Cottage. And Graham Scott says that is enough, and Chelsea have prevailed by 2-1. Good game though, wasn't it, Rufus?
Very, very good game. Very good game.
Rufus Brevett, the former Fulham defender, esteemed in footballing world. Just give us a quick summary of what you thought of that game.
Both teams really, really had a go, especially Fulham. The last 20 minutes really put Chelsea under pressure. I thought Chelsea were comfortable all the time, and they had that little bit extra to win the game today.
They were indeed. Goals coming up, but for now it's finished here. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. You're listening to Premier League Live. William drives forward, little overlap from Azpilicueta. Higuain 1-0. How simple was that goal? Fizzed in, Higuain got across his man as it came in from his right hand side. Side puts it past Rico. It's 1-0.
Clinical finish.
Babel lifts it in. It's a decent ball. Open goal at the back, and it's turned in by Callum Chambers. It's what a piece. Well, I'm not sure how well I know London, but Callum Chambers had most of it to play in there.
Where's the Chelsea marking? He's free at the back stick, and he just volleys it side foot into the goal.
Hazard's inside the box, rolls it back, shot coming in from Jorginho, 2-1. Good ball forward, looking for the runner by Ite, who might get there before Rudiger does. Pitch it back in, Mitrovic with a header, great save by Arrizabalaga. Chance for Sessegnon, is going in, the whistle still, and the flag is up. And the ball broke to Ryan Sessegnon, who in space rolled it past Arrizabalaga, but the flag is up on the far side. That was the tale of the match. As I say, I'm joined alongside me by Rufus Brevett, the former QPR and Fulham defender. We've seen hope maybe for Fulham towards the end of the season, not avoiding relegation, but having something to cheer.
I think we have, and I think we've seen a Fulham team that certainly put the effort in today, and there was a good shape about the team. And, you know, they've scored a goal, couldn't quite keep the clean sheet. Always going to be difficult against Chelsea today, but they've sort of done really well.
Over £300 million worth of talent on show for Chelsea. Did they make heavy weather in the end?
I think they did. I mean, especially in the first half, they had chances to really kill the game, and they didn't take them chances. And as we know, when you don't take your chances, there's always a chance that you might concede at the other end, which they very nearly did.
Fulham now have lost every single London derby that they've competed in the Premier League. We're moving on to the maybe a little bit bigger derby now, in the sense of Everton versus Liverpool. But overall, we couldn't have asked for a better 90 minutes, could we?
No, I think it's been brilliant. It's been a really, really good game of football. Both teams came and attacked and tried to play football. It was very good.
There we are. Rufus Brevett has been alongside me, Andrew Self, for Fulham versus Chelsea. It finished here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Chelsea 2. You've been listening to Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much.
Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor game. Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League preview show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. A Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League preview show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
This is the golden chance, and Marcus Rashford doesn't need a second invitation.
The only way to listen to the world's most exciting league outside the UK and Ireland.
It's a big chance here for West Ham, and they've got the equalising goal. A brilliant free kick right off the training ground.
We've got every single goal, every single weekend of the season.
Son to shoot, goal! Tottenham Hotspur have broken through.
English football at its finest.
Square pass to Kante, and now a brilliant finish from Gonzalo Higuain.
Premier League Live with TalkSport.
A very good afternoon. You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Everton against Liverpool from Goodison Park. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Republic of Ireland midfielder Alan McLaughlin. This is Premier League Live. Well, the Premier League weekend started with a derby in North London, and it will end with a derby on Merseyside. And it's the 200th league meeting between two clubs whose stadiums are separated by a mere mile across Stanley Park, but whose current standing and status are rather more polarised. Liverpool lost the Premier League top spot to Manchester City yesterday, but will regain the summit if they can repeat their dramatic last-gasp victory over their Merseyside rivals in December. And creeping doubts about their title credentials following a trio of recent lacklustre draws were emphatically banished with a scintillating display in a 5-0 thrashing of Watford in midweek. Liverpool have still lost just one league game all season, and their fate remains in their hands. It's 18 matches and more than 8 years since Everton last won the derby, even longer since they were the equals of Liverpool in pursuit of titles and triumphs. This season has been a disappointment overall, despite the fanfare that greeted Marco Silva's arrival. At least a midweek win at Cardiff ended a 3-match losing run, but their home form is woeful. They've been beaten in 4 of the last 5 league games at Goodison Park. The team news is relatively straightforward. Everton make 2 changes to the team that beat Cardiff. Kurt Zouma returns from a suspension to replace Phil Jagielka at centre-half, while Bernard replaces his fellow Brazilian Richarlison in wide midfield. Just one change for Liverpool. That's in centre midfield, where Jordan Henderson is preferred to James Milner. Roberto Firmino is fit, but only enough for a place on the bench, which means that Divock Origi who scored the dramatic late winner in the corresponding fixture at Anfield back in December, continues up front. I'm delighted to have Alan McLaughlin alongside me. Well, it's always a big moment when these two meet. It's the 233rd time in all competitions. The rain is lashing down at Goodison Park, but you would expect Liverpool to maintain their dominance. They haven't lost to Everton in 16 Premier League games, and another win today would take them top.
Yes, it would, and all indications are form. The stats you've just mentioned there, if you're a betting person, you'd be sticking your money on Liverpool, plus the form of Liverpool this year, the exciting players they've got, Salah, Mane, Origi who's come in, Firmino not quite ready to start, and you just see more goals. The goal difference for Everton is 0 at the moment. You know, they're not scoring that many. It's plus 40 odd for Liverpool. The one chink of light you might suggest for Everton would be Gylfi Sigurdsson. Scored a lot of goals this season. He's the one person that can maybe turn and find something and score some goals. I'm quite surprised Bernard is playing instead of Richarlison. I think the pace and the power of him, maybe the work rate of Bernard back, but it might be something that Marco Silva has looked at. But overall, listen, you couldn't go too far past Liverpool, but it is a derby. The conditions are just perfect to make it that sort of game where you can launch a little tackle from a little bit further away. The Everton fans will be desperate, obviously, for their team to pull out a victory today and at least stop the momentum of Liverpool to try and switch into the hands of Man City. But I'm looking forward to the game. A lot of the players for Everton have got a lot to prove. It's been a disappointing season so far, and they have to do something. On what a better way to start by getting a home victory against their arch rivals Liverpool.
Yeah, the players are in the tunnel. Everton have a hopeless record recently against any of the big six teams, not just Liverpool. They haven't won in 24 meetings, and they are very much part of that sort of middle tier now in the Premier League. Back in the 80s, of course, Liverpool and Everton were preeminent. Not anymore. Let's find out shortly how this one is going to go. We'll be back with the whole of the game live in just a moment. You're listening to Premier League Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with Talk Sport.
Pogba believes it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends the shot. What a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance! Vardy goal! Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game.